Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. We're back. All right, the errands are done. Time for game dev. All right, today we're going to add selection overlay support for the doors. We're going to at least do that, if nothing else. My throat still feels a little scratchy from yesterday, or like yesterday. Hopefully, I'm not getting sick. So if I mute a lot, that's why. If I talk while muted, it's because I'm dumb. And I can't see the red light right in front of me telling me I'm muted. I hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. All right. Sit rep here. Selection overlays are pretty much working as we intend. There's a couple of minor auto-tiling rules that are not easy to resolve based on the way we have layers and z-indexing and all this stuff, but in general, very pleased. So we have this box, make it a little more complicated, I guess. What I can't do is put any doors in right now, because that's what we need to add support for today, is doors. I can do this. So we can go, so what we can do is we can say, oh, I want to move this part of this room over. So we could go select this. We can select multiple layers. And so now we have this selection. Structurally, the next thing I want to do is move away from our copy and paste method and switch over to more of a click drag. So you'd select this, you'd click it and drag it over. And that you could use that to move. Copy paste will still be necessary because that's like a cut more than it is. So if I copy this, seems like copy doesn't work right now, which makes sense. We probably broke something, or I turned it off while we were setting up the selection overlay. What's a little weird though is if we do like a selection like this and we don't do the layer above, there's a bit of a cutoff here. It's not easy to change that without messing up a bunch of other stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if we care about that. I don't think it's going to matter terribly much because, again, this selection overlay isn't going to stick around. It's just sticking around now because we're in edit mode, so you want to be able to pick up and move actual structures, like pieces of walls and stuff here. But in play mode, you'll just see this while you're selecting, and then when you let up, it will deselect all of this, and all that will be left will be the things that are selectable. So, like, if there's a crew member in here or whatever, or over here, there's multiple crew members. Maybe other things that you'd want to be able to select, like maybe a door, so you can turn the door on or off, or lock it or whatever. I don't know. FTL things. I think we want to change the cutaway system to be room-based as well. Like, I like this, but I think we want it to be room-based, so that like a whole room gets cut away. And then when you click over the other room, the next room gets cut away. That works better and better the bigger the rooms are, so I don't know, we'll see. We also got selection overlays working with camera rotation, which is good. All right, so what we need to do is add support for doors, because right now adding a door here would crash the game. Pretty sure. No, I can't even, it's not even letting me place a door. Woohoo. We might have messed something up earlier. No? No errors. Okay. Well. Doors might be kind of busted. We should probably look at that first, huh? All right, let's make the minimum viable test here. Just a little doorway. Okay, no, door placement is mostly fine. There's something that happens when you select, yeah, well, it crashes if the door is already there. And my suspicion is if the selection is already there, the door won't be placed. Probably for some weird block merge rules. So let's make that doorway again. Simplest possible doorway, and then let's select it. And then let's try to place. Okay, no, that works. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Click, click. Okay, yeah, so the selection is going away, I think. Let me double check. So let's turn that back to a wall. Let's select it all. Then let's try to place a door here. Okay, well, that's fine. The double door. Oh, there's some rules being broken because of the selection here. Because we're evaluating the form. And we're applying selection as a form. So a block has forms. It has like a deck, aka a floor, a bulk, aka a wall or something that takes up the majority of the space there that's structural. Doesn't have to be a wall per se. It could be one of these shapes. Could be like an aesthetic shape like this. That still means the block is like not occupiable, but it's not like a wall in the same sense, and that it doesn't seal the room. Which I want to add support for these kinds of shapes soon. Right now we can only really add square blocks. Oh, this is wrong. I wonder if I remove this both here and it still works. I need to make this check more. I don't know if this can be a switch statement. Because this is like a logical, it's doing a logical comparison against an individual bit flag. And in that case, what we actually want is to do something like incoming form and block.forms.bulk. We don't want just incoming form evaluates to block.forms.bulk because that will fail. So like I have both here, which is like the single worst description I could possibly use. But both just means deck and bulk. Should probably change that name to something else. But what we really want is we want to do incoming form bitwise and block.forms.bulk equals evaluates to block.forms.bulk. Which we have a shorthand, we just have incoming.has. So probably don't want to keep doing this as a switch statement. It makes the logic confusing. And there's just issues. So the issue we have right now is we're saying if there's a door here, remove the door. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, this is a race block. Never mind. That's correct. All right. Merge block. If there's a deck or a door. And then if the existing block has a bulk. Okay, so the incoming form is a door. And the existing block has a bulk. Then we put in a new block of the existing form and deck. Oh. This means we copy over a deck if we have a deck, and then we add the incoming form. That will remove a selection. So we want to say incoming form or block.forms. That select. Yeah, I want to change the way this works. We could say .add, or we could say, no, we can't say that. We don't want to or, we want to add it only if we already have it. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I need to change how this whole merge block process works. This is gross. Let's not do it right now, though. Let's try to stick to what we were planning on doing today, and I can think about that later. The thing we were planning to do today was, well, how do we do this elsewhere? So here we say, if the new incoming form, we need to retain enough of the existing form that if there's a selection, we keep it. So this existing form and block.forms deck is kind of a problem. So this only works if both has a form. Oh, I want to guarantee. No. I don't know why I have this and block.forms.deck. That doesn't totally make sense. It's like if we already have it, great. If we don't have it, oh, this is if we're trying to add a door. If we're trying to add a door and a deck, we're going to add the deck no matter what. So let's just get rid of this. This is what we're going to do here. Okay, so this check doesn't matter anymore. Existing.has. Oh. We need to remove this is what we need to do. The block.forms.bulk. We need to say existing form dot, we need to say existing dot remove forms block dot forms dot bulk dot form. So take the existing block, remove these forms, then grab the form that we get as a result. This function could arguably return a form instead of a block. I could also add an explicit conversion or something, but whatever. I think I'd rather have this return the whole block. Okay, this branch is correct now. For this, this has any bulk or door. I don't care about the door. I don't understand this and deck thing here. I was trying to add. Maybe when I remove it, it'll become painfully apparent why we did this way. But right now, it makes no sense. The behavior of these two branches are the same, so we should probably get rid of one of these. We do something like this. Oh, can we not do this with a switch expression? Combining cases is like trivial to do with a switch statement. I might have to turn this back into a statement. Oh yeah, see, we have this behavior right here already. But then when I make it an expression... Oh, it's block.forms.door or block deck or deck and door. Okay. Speaking of and door, woo! It's good stuff. All right. So this may or may not work. This is also not what we're trying to work on right now. But, you know. C'est la vie. Which, what we want to happen. We want to place this block thing. We want to select it. Now I want to try to place a door here and see what happens. It should crash. Okay, good. That's what we wanted, ironically enough. So we can deal with that crash now, because that's the main thing we're actually trying to deal with, which is supporting doors here. So this case, we need to expand this case. I think what we have here, we need to refer to the hull tile set. So what we've got here is a source for each door proxy. So we have a single door proxy, a double door proxy. I feel like this is another area. I feel like eventually we're going to have some pretty cool tile set building tools. Stuff that takes atlases and some information in the atlas and builds us a tile set. Maybe not information in the atlas, because that's not very modding friendly, but I'm going to figure something out. So I don't have to make all this stuff by hand. But in either case, we need to take these and we need to make a select version of these. Should be relatively easy, frankly. Might be a little tedious is probably what it's going to be. That's cool. We're having a chill Saturday. Do I want to do this directly in the proxy file? These are just PNGs. I kind of don't... Is this a PNG? No, this is an A-Sprite file. Right? This is also an A-Sprite file. This is a PNG file. Okay. All right, let's find the A-Sprite files for all these, as opposed to the PNGs. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer. New layer. It's going to be select door. We'll call this single select door. So what we can do first is we can check our door select. I'm not sure. So are these outlines full black or are these just the step before? Oh, they're the step before. Fascinating. So then I think the select outline is one step below absolute white. Not what I wanted. It's got to be in the recent files list here. Here it is. So we're doing these very subtle outlines, or not outlines, but we're going to do the subtle transparent mask stuff for the 3 doors. And that's most of what we need to do. And we just need to work out the rules for the autotiler. So this color, I have to turn that off. This transparency is kind of funny. Okay, that is correct. And then these aren't in the... I really should add... It's going to be hard to tell, but I should add these to the... I should add some washed out... Or I should make a separate palette that's like a transparency palette. That's like the grayscale colors at different levels of transparency. It's kind of the only way we're going to do this. Let's start with this. Because this is easy. We're just going to replace all the black lines with white lines. Yeah, I didn't think so. hope I don't regret doing these as on one layer here. I've certainly never regretted that in the past. We're chilling. You know what I've been playing? Oblivion Remastered. Some fun stuff. I feel like the difficulty could use some work though. Because I'm playing on like the quote-unquote medium difficulty, the adept. Now, because I started out on expert, and expert made every single fight like a crazy life or death scramble. Where like one skeleton would like push you to your limits. Even like a rat would be like a dangerous foe. And I get that's kind of how Oblivion is supposed to work. But it was ridiculous. But then I stepped one level down from that, and now every fight is a cakewalk. And I'm like, okay. Maybe I just wait until I power up a little bit, and then I go back to expert once I've actually got some health and armor and stuff like that, and I can actually take more than like 2 hits from a skeleton. But I'm enjoying it. It's been fun so far. All right, here's our white outline. This is honestly what we want it to look like when the selection is over. So like this is what I would like it to look like with a passive selection. So like once you've let go of the select button, I would like it to switch to this. But what we want here is, so maybe we call this like passive select or something like that. Let's call this like passive select door. This could honestly be done with like a shader because we're just replacing. And this is actually probably, oh yeah, let's not worry about that because this is happening at the proxy time. This is happening at quote-unquote edit time. This happens when we're in the editor, in which case I do want a tint because that would be in line with everything else. But doors are nodes because doors animate like a single door file like this. Not the proxy, the actual single door. Single door combo. This actual door here, it like animates and stuff. And like this one's trivial. You could do this as a tile set or as a tile because it takes up 1 block. But like as soon as we get to other doors, we run into some problems. Which is like the double door takes up 2 tiles. So this is very clearly 2 different nodes. And we even have a triple door, which is even crazier. Probably turn the background off. Experimental outlines. What does this do? Oh. I think that was just for me for when I was building this. I like this door. I was not sold on it initially, but I like it a lot now. Oh, what the hell? I think I enabled every frame to be visible. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Okay, mouse. Calm down. All right. Back to work. Work. All right, so now we need to shade things in. So we'll use the mid-tone gray here and the darker gray. Let me go double check what we're doing elsewhere. Which one do we want? This one? Yeah. So this one's a little darker. This is AF, this is CF. This one's CF, and this is AF. Okay, so we're using pretty light stuff here. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, what is your color mode indexed? Yeah, switching from index to grayscale for all of this is not great. Or not grayscale, RGB. I would like to use indexed. But that involves making this palette enormous in a way that's not intuitive. So maybe for now this is okay. And honestly, if eventually we are auto-generating these selection layer overlays, maybe we don't. Maybe we just straight up don't need to make this part of the palette here. So we're going to take this. We're going to bring this down. I think I said I wanted 64, around 64 for alpha. And then that's going to be, this is CF, so this is the roof. We'll go to AF, which is index 9. We'll also go to 64. Use a slightly darker tint for the walls than the roof. And that should be it. Yeah. All right. Ship it. Door single proxy. Oh. Door single, we'll say door single select. We need to organize this stuff a lot better in the future, in the glorious future. All right. This is not going to take as long as I thought it would, so good for us. So we're going to say, oh, is this the PNG? No, this is the A-sprite file. Okay. Select. You can say grid here, I guess. You can say select. This feels wrong. Did I just not layer this file correctly? Looks like I didn't. Cool. Me not layer file correctly? Shocking. I like these little busy work activities. Like, it needs to be done. In the glorious future, it will be automated. But, you know, if you only need to do something once, maybe just do it and then worry about automation later. When you no longer need to do it just once. A little hard to see with my studio lighting here, but I think hard to tell the gray from the black sometimes. I could do this one and copy and paste it over. I don't have to do this twice at least. There's a workflow gain there. All right, that part's done. Now we just tint it. Here's the part. These are open, so these need to be done by hand, but that's fine. Only some of it's open. So we do the thing, we switch this, save it, switch it to RGB color. Hide this, grab this, get the alpha down to where we want it. Make it impossible to see. Swear I'm doing something. Copied this over to the other side. I swear we did something. It's just very hard to see. Oh, Lord. Oh, I guess that's good. There we go. Arguably, this doesn't need to be like this. There's just one. I don't know why I did it like this. That's fine. We can ignore it for now. I realize these are identical and we don't need both, but who cares? For the moment, who cares? It's not overly burdensome at the moment. Is this the only layer with anything on it? Okay, so I created all these layers and threw everything onto one layer. Super cool, Dave. right, almost done with this. And we'll be integrating this with the autotiler. Set it up in the tile set real quick first. The nodes, I think, will eventually just use a shader for selection the same way. We have a shader already that we use for crew members, but I think it can be adapted to any node, any like sprite, any node-based sprite thing. And so this is all just for the sake of the proxies, the tile proxies, which we use during edit time, so that we don't have to instantiate nodes for everything if we're going to be rapidly changing everything. Like you're creating rooms, destroying rooms, building doors, throwing away doors. We're only going to switch from the proxies, the tile proxies, which are just tile cells. We'll have a step, a loading step where we switch from edit mode to play mode. Now, if we add support for something like you're in play mode and then you can go into edit mode and then go back into play mode, if we add a system like that that works pretty quickly, we might change our mind about that. Or we might have some kind of intermediate step or something. I don't know. Why did I draw that again? I could have just copied that over. Again, I like these like kind of trivial activities because it gives me time to think about other stuff, but it's also a bit of a waste. All right, so that's that. Now we switch from index to RGB color. I think the outlines for the doors here are going to be a little lighter than everything else because of how we iterated in the other files. Like we did one pass of transparency, then when we added another pass. And the way that added together did not give us the same final value that we would want. So I'll tweak that off stream probably just to get them all looking the same. Again, we are doing something. I know it's hard to see. All right, we'll copy these over. Didn't need to do this twice. They're identical. Double door, select proxy. We'll just add, we'll make the proxy, I don't know what we're gonna do actually. I should probably have built this out from a different file, from like the actual double door file instead of the double door proxy file. But whatever. It was not particularly onerous to do that. Because, yeah, we don't even need all of this. In fact, there's going to be no Atlas coordination, Atlas chords manipulation of much. Except, I guess, which piece you are. Okay. All right, let's go to our grid tile set. Let's start adding stuff to it. So we're going to add an Atlas. Go find our doors. Door single select proxy. Never automatically create. Good evening. Hey, Steuben. How's it going? How's your Saturday been? All right, 32 by 32. We just need one. I'm gonna call this grid door 1. Oh, we do need a alternative, which is the flipped version. Eventually, we need to introduce the inverted ones, not just the flipped ones, but the flipped, but like the correct direction for this kind of S curve. I've drawn them, we just don't have them in the proxies, because why? Because why would we care enough to do that? All right, so that's single door, double door. All right, I don't know what the size of these are. I'm gonna go look at the other one setup. These are 48 by 36. And what is your... Okay, you're aligned like that. That makes sense. 48 by 36. Oh, there's a problem here. It's not a huge problem. It's just awkward. Because this is going to be actually Atlas chords 2, not 1, because there's this gap here. Because I'm dumb. Sorry, I keep saying that. I've been told I shouldn't say that. It's fine, we just multiply in this case. Alright, that should... Is that it? Here we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, sick. Stubenhocker, it's going okay. You made progress on the character version fix code. Character version fix code, and you're now crunching existing characters and checking the outputs if there's any mistake. One issue found so far. So yay for testing. Nice, nice. So character... Are you doing some kind of generation stuff? Are you like generating characters or character attributes or something? All right, we'll do the alt tiles. Set those up here real quick. Flip H. I don't know if this is right. All right, let me see. Negative 16, 8. Let me check its companion here. U. No, it can't be this, right? I know I said I would check, but... Yeah, I think it's got to be... like this. Yeah. There we go. Weird how this doesn't totally line up. But it's okay, I think. Rig, slow day. Yeah, pretty chill. We're just working on door support. It's Saturday. People should be going, oh, sorry, you said yo a while ago. You got buried in the Pretzel Rocks song feed. How's it going? Steuben, your game has customizable characters and you had broken sprites that now required color swapped around to still look the same as before. Made a bit more annoying. It was made a bit more annoying with having to deal with locking logic. Oh, interesting. Is the jam over yet, Rig? Is this your last day to work on it, or is it done? Yeah, I'm deathly afraid of any kind of scaling issues like that, Steuben, that involves manual labor. Like, anytime I start seeing a scaling problem, I'm just like, ooh, this needs to be... something else needs to happen. But then once you get that automation going, it takes so long to validate it. And it can be... And to validate it, you need to come up with another automation because you're generating so much content that you need to validate that content. And it's like, but then who validates the validator, you know? Except just by kind of spot checking here and there. It's tough. And it's tough for indies because you can't just throw money and time at the... Well, you can throw time at the problem, but you can't just throw money at the problem when it comes to generating the amount of content that people expect nowadays. All right, so that's double door set. Triple doors, last one. Oh, I need to name this correctly. Setup. Grid door 2. Oops. 2. It ended this morning. Turtles all the way down. Yeah, exactly. Everything is turtles all the way down. Bootstrapping and automatic tool chain. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough going. All right, triple door proxy. Steuben, yeah, it's validated by drawing all characters and then drawing them on the updated branch and comparing the output. Oh, okay, cool. Definitely is turning your PC into a space heater currently. Yeah, so much of what... Oh, I did the thing. I said literally never do, which is... I just clicked yes when it was like, do you want to auto-generate the tiles? Damn it. No, I can't go backwards. Oh, yeah, I can. Whew! That's close. Oh, what is the size of these? Triple door... 40 by 40. All right. That's weird, but I will take it. Oh, yeah, but I was just saying, I have a very different opinion about that kind of thing than some of my coworkers. Like, they'll just be happy to have their, like, computer chilling. And chilling is the wrong word. They're happy to have their computer locked up doing some like intensive thing for like 20 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, we could just be doing this on the cloud or something and like carrying on with our day. And they're like, nah, I don't mind. I'm like, okay. But sometimes you don't have a choice. As someone said, you don't always need a cluster to, you know, you don't always need a server to add a couple numbers together. All right, what the hell is the offset for this tile? Thank God I already figured it out over here. What is your offset? 012. All right. Bezos doesn't need any more money. That's a good point. That's a good point. That said, don't forget to use your Prime sub. Sorry. Don't forget to use your Prime sub. Make Bezos pay.
The logic was impeccable, Captain.
Hey, Smooth in a second. Hydrate. You got it. I actually was at a diner this morning. Not my usual diner, which is like a little more expensive and is on the way to work. When I do have to go into the office. I went to this really little one nearby that's like a literal mom and pop shop, and it was so good that I hung out there like quite a while, but I drank a lot of coffee. So yeah, hydration time. All right, that's a triple door. It looks set. Oh, I just need the alternatives. Need them alt tiles. All right. I reminded you, Rig, of a Cuban sandwich shop you used to go to in Denver. Yeah, good food, good hang, that sort of situation. Yeah, I'm very much a morning person, and my partner isn't. So that's like maybe one of my guilty pleasures is I'll go out to like a diner in the morning, have like a big breakfast, drink like a ton of coffee, and then I'm like, maybe do some errands. But then it gets to the nighttime and I'm like asleep, like physically falling asleep at like 10. My partner is like, it's just 10. Steuben, you said it would be nice. It's not currently in the middle. At least it's not currently in the middle of summer. It makes it unbearable temperature-wise. Oh yeah, I have a friend who like uses their computer as like a heater in their room. It's like a space heater. That doesn't work for me. I'm in a studio, but the room is big enough that no space heater can heat the room. And there's no insulation. Like right next to me, there's this big window. It's this huge bay window. It's probably not huge, but it's like the entire wall is a bay window. Not a bay window, just a big window. I don't get any extra space. And all my heat goes out that window. So I don't even bother heating my apartment most of the time. Like, it's sweaters and jackets for me. And streaming. Streaming does kind of get me going as far as I get nervous, so I start sweating and I don't feel cold when I'm streaming. I just get that nervous energy. Yeah, Smooth, in a second you do that too. You used to run Fold at Home to make your computer work hard when you weren't gaming, to keep your room warm. That's too funny. That's probably pretty efficient in terms of, electricity to heat fallout conversion and whatever. All right, so the door is set up in terms of the tile set is ready. Grid door 3. So all we need to do now is set up the auto tiler to be able to handle it. So let's go grab the existing code, which I'm a little scared because the existing door code is like way more complicated than I want to be. I think it's like a nested switch statement. It is. Jesus. I'm not excited about this. All right, so doors. So we have a separate, so instead of halls, we have doors. So we're storing doors separately. So this is all the logic for auto tiling doors. So we just need to swap this here. So our door tile is doors key. Is this gonna work? So key is a vector 4. Tile is tiles key. All right, let's see how we're doing this. So for the case of so doors have their own forms. And they just have singular form. So here we're checking hulls. Do we actually need to do that? No, we don't. So instead, oh, we got a spam bot. We got a spam bot to ban. We're also in NAD break. I'm gonna bam this spam bot and then go get some water. All right, load the photon torpedo tubes. You're getting banned. Blast them. All right, be right back 1 second.
He's dead, Jim.
Oh yeah, rigs. The Twitch ads. Back to YouTube. There you go. All right, so looking through here. So we're getting our blocks. So we don't need to do this. These are already defined, which is great. These are defined. Yeah. It's actually kind of silly that we're having to do that up above. Yeah, we really do need to include some kind of thing to draw when the block is in an invalid, or when the door is in an invalid state. We need some kind of like broken door thing, or even just some kind of calamitous, maybe like a big X block in horrible colors or something. Like the equivalent of like the magenta kind of deal. Maybe we'll just use magenta. I have a magenta. How's it back on YouTube, Rig? All right, so now we just got to go through. So we still need to figure out these door upper and lower divisions. So single door, let's start with a single door and we'll handle the other cases. It's good. There you are, Ryson. Yeah, I think unless there's a lot of activity in Twitch, might as well be on YouTube, right? You're just chilling. I guess it depends on the ad situation and everything else. All right, so source ID is not 12, so the source tile ID is 0123. The Atlas chords. So we're not going to do this whole check thing. So instead of a whole check, what are we doing? We're basically... Oh, Atlas chords is just vector 2 I dot 0. Alt tile is door tile dot axes. Yeah, easy. That's all right, that's true. For whatever reason, you haven't been hit with the ads on YouTube that everyone else has. Well, my channel is not monetized yet. I would need 1,000 subscribers before I'm allowed to monetize ads, so maybe I just straight up don't have ads. I don't know. I also have YouTube Premium, so like I can't check. Alright, source tile ID is 4. The Atlas chords. Here. So here we're doing some upper and lower division stuff. Door tile equals door tile with division equals door.division.upper. So we don't need to do that. In fact, we don't need to know any of this at all. This is all being defined farther up. All we need to do... We don't even need to know what the axes are. Well, we do need to know what the axis is for the alt tile. In fact, where are we even defining that? Alt tile ID equals 1. What? Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so we need this, but instead of this whole thing, we don't need to check this twice. Like, this is checking to see whether we are the upper or lower. So for us, we just need if... Oh, we can just say Atlas chords equals door tile dot div and door dot div dot upper. I don't even know if this is a bit field, but I'm just going to treat this as such. So if we're double door, that's when we increase the X by 2. Atlas chords. Actually, we're not adding to this, are we? So we can just say Atlas chords equals, we could just say vector 2i dot right times 2 or vector 2i dot 0. We don't need any of this other BS here. Do I need to not make this check? Oh, it's not a flag. Okay, so we just say div. Nice that it checks that for me. And then we don't care about the hull. It probably won't come back to bite me. In fact, is this the same regardless of our axis? It is. So we can actually say this. And then we can actually say alt tile ID equals door tile dot axes and axes dot x. Actually, it would be y. We're checking for y. Other way. Actually, let's check for x and let's say 0 or 1. Get rid of all of this branching BS here. Because we're taking advantage of the fact that we've already done a lot of this work earlier. This is a second pass for an overlay, so we don't actually need to do all these checks. I'm just adapting the code cautiously so that we don't have weird things happen to it. So here, this is another division check, but it's actually multiple steps, isn't it? So if you're a middle door, your Atlas chords is x plus 1. Otherwise, so what we can do is we can say Atlas chords is equal to door tile dot div. So if door tile is not equal to door dot div dot lower, then we're saying door tile dot div dot upper. So if it's not the lower tile and it's not the upper tile, then we know exactly what it is. Div. Because this is a 3-part door. It's got a lower and a bottom, a middle, and a top here. So if it's not, so if it is lower, we just say Atlas chords equals vector 2i dot 0. If this isn't upper, or if it is the upper tile, we say vector 2i. Yep, almost there. Vector 2i dot right. I think that's in line with what we're seeing here. Cool. Get rid of all this junk. Then grab this evaluation here. In fact, this doesn't need to be part of the switch state, does it? Switch statement. Outfrost, thank you for the follow. How's it going on this fine Saturday? I need to keep the last invalid check here, I think. No? Yeah, we can do something else. We can say break, and we can say default. We can use this same basic thing, and we can say doortile.form. Form is not supported. So this can be outside. So let's define the alt tile ID at the top then, if it is not part of this switch statement. There we go. Some values of the enum are not processed inside switch. Oh, yeah, the invalid is checked. We could say case. Yeah, let's do that. Let's leave it here. We want to eventually support the invalid state, but we don't currently, so let's not pretend like we do. Although in this case, oh no, we have a continue here. Hey, Outfrost, slow day. You're supposed to be working on your thing. You're dragging your feet. How am I? I am good. Yeah, it's a chill day. It's Saturday. We're putting some work into our autotiler. We're working on this selection overlay, which is an additional layer of auto tiling that we're doing on top. And we're pretty much done. We're just working on getting door support going so that we can overlay across doors. So here's maybe the one problem that's going on here. Tiles equals tile width. You know, this is probably fine. Let's just say this is probably fine, and we'll deal with if it's not shortly. Do I prefer it like this? Maybe. All right, let's set up a test here. So we'll set up a couple different doors. And now we're going to try to select them. Crash? Nope, no crash, but incorrect behavior. The only door that's rendering at all is the double door, and it's rendering 2 singles. I probably have... Well, amongst other things, I'm probably giving it the wrong... I am giving it the wrong source ID. I miscounted. I miscounted the men, Liz. I miscounted the men. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it should be 4, 5, 6, not 3, 4, 5. Oops. Outfrost, this is probably fine. You writing horrible code a year ago that you're now stuck refactoring. That is the way. We're all worshippers of Yagni, right? You aren't gonna need it. Or alternatively, you are gonna need it. It's a cruel... she's a cruel goddess, Yagni. Alright, so let's fix that. That, amongst other things, is broken. Otherwise, I think we still have a problem here. So, division... Do I have the divisions wrong? So, upper division is vector... Yeah, okay. And then is this one straight up wrong? Lower, mid, upper. Lower, mid, upper. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah, no, this is right. And then this one. So if the tile isn't lower, then it's possibly upper. If it's upper, it's this. If it's mid, it's this. If it's lower, it's this. Okay, that all looks correct. More like Yagfi, you ain't gonna fix it. Yeah, that's, you know, that's true. And you know, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes the requirements change and you're like, do I even want to fix this? Or am I just throwing this away? Or is it fine? And we just won't talk about it. All right. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 doors, blah. All right. Select one door. Okay. Okay. That's mostly correct. There's still this awkward cutoff thing that I haven't decided how I want to deal with because it's not trivial. And it also maybe doesn't matter, so... I might make doors immune to the cutaway. Unless you're, like, straight up mousing behind them or something. I think we need some more complex rules for the cutaway system. All right, let's check the double door. Okay, the double door is janky AF. Is the triple door equally janky? In which case the divisions aren't right. So you think you're a middle division door. You think every single one of your divisions is mid. You think you're double lower. Okay, let's understand. Let's work to understand that. Maximum warp, no jewel. Nice editor. Thank you. Thank you, Outfrost. That's pretty much all we've done. Ryson, you know at one point you heard YouTube was still going to monetize channels even if they aren't yet big enough to get a part of the ad revenue? Oh, that's very possible. It's very possible that happens. I can't tell you. I also know it's regional as well. Like as far as whether they bother to monetize or not. Yeah, we're putting all our eggs into this crazy layered tile map thing that we've got. I've only been showing one layer at a time, but you can kind of go down quite a bit. Because we're trying to do this isometric 3D version of FTL faster than light. So it's going to be like bridge at the top and then like, I don't know, weapons room or, you know, conference room. Who knows? Barracks, engine room, cargo bay. We're adding a lot of verticality to the FTL formula. New doors? No, we're just doing selection overlay on the current doors. And they're kind of busted. Is this your main job right now? Or more of a hobby thing? It's a hobby thing, but we do put a lot of time into it. We try to stream for a few hours 5 days a week. So we do Tuesday through Saturday around this time. So I am able to make time for this. I'd say we work about half time on this. I'd say the most I put in on a good week, I'm probably working 20 hours on this game. I would like to be doing more, but there just isn't a lot of time in the day. You know, I do have a day job. All right, so why do you think you're only lower? And why do you think every single thing is mid? Okay, Atlas Chords equals doortile.div. If doortile.div is equal to door.div.upper, that's like totally right. Switch doortile.form. Where's this door tile we're getting, I guess? It's the doors. The key is maybe we're making the wrong key. No, the key should be fine. Oh, it's a key in tiles. No. We are recording these doors. So we're figuring out all the door stuff here. Oh, we're not using these. These values are not being assigned back. That needs to occur. We need to do that here probably before the break. So we need to say, so when we're in here, we need to say door tile. We need to say doors key equals door tile. Oopsies. So we weren't recording that stuff. That's a mistake. Where are we clearing this each frame? How was the Godot meetup thingy? Oh, it was good. Last Saturday, it's good. We meet once a month. It's cool. There were a good number of people there. GodotCon Boston is in like a week and like a half. It's the first full week of well, the first week of May. So like 5, 6, 7. It is soon. And it is gonna be wild. All right, so now that we're actually recording that information, maybe we can use it. All right, let's try this again. All right, 3 doors, no more, no less. First door, selected correctly. Second door, selected correctly. Third door, also selected correctly. Beautiful. Love it. Love to see it. What if I even... Oh, here's something we need to figure out. What if a door is only partly selected? It should be like if you select any section of a door, it should select the whole door or something, right? Except for maybe in this mode. Maybe instead of in construction mode. Because, yeah, this breaks everything, actually. Yeah, look at this. So this door freaks out and can't render because half of the triple door has been selected. So I understand why this is. And that's pretty easy to fix. And now it's back. Oh wait, I'm selecting this. Why is this not rendering correctly? Why is it only rendering correctly if I do this? Oh, is it checking its neighbor? Oh. Okay. All right, so there's some issues with the triple door auto tiler. It's not handling the select very well. That's easy. That should be easy. Here's all the... There shouldn't be a problem here. The hell is next Y? Block next Y. Oh, because I'm going through more than one, aren't I? Oh, because we have negative Y and then we have next Y. I see. I see. It's kind of weird. So where would this problem be coming up? So somewhere in here when we're trying to render a regular door. Actually, we're having both problems. The door is being marked as invalid is what I think is happening. But maybe it's not. Because it shouldn't be happening here because we do something like pause X form or negative X form. So we look at like the two forms that are our neighbors. We see if both of them are bulks. So we're doing a lot of checks against individual flags, and that should be relatively safe. So I actually don't think the problem is here. I think the problem is further down with the auto tiling. But it could be here. It's conceivable that the problem is here. Has is also very clean. Has is basically the same as doing an individual. In fact, I probably want to rewrite a lot of this with has. All right. So, is it possible we're triggering an invalid door state? It's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. I feel like it's more likely that we're failing during the auto tiling, because the auto tiling for this is annoying and complicated. Hold on, inner. I guess we should just check to see if this is happening. Probably be smart. There shouldn't be a problem here either. Block.forms.door. Is it possible that we're breaking it when we add the selection? It seems unlikely. Ryson, did you ever figure out that one check was that you removed earlier in the stream? Oh no, it caused no problems. I don't know why I was doing that. I think it was just guaranteeing the presence of something that we like already knew was there. Like I think it was redundant is what it was, because I don't understand how that could cause anything. All right. So I want to double check what's going on here. So if we select near a door, does the door not render? No, not for a single door. So a single door works fine. If we select a double door and the wall's next to it, it works fine. What if we select just a double door? Yeah, okay. So there's some comparison happening where the door is looking at the block next to it, and if the door is selected or the wall is selected but not both, it freaks out. And it enters an invalid state, because if it wasn't an invalid state, we would be rendering the door outline. So yeah, somehow we're entering an invalid state like this. If half of a door is selected and the other half isn't, or if the anchoring wall is selected. Okay, so if the door is selected but its anchoring wall isn't, it doesn't seem to care. Same for that. But interesting. Interesting. So if only the door is selected, it's fine. If only the wall is selected, it's not fine. Curious. What if I select just the middle tile here? Yep. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, some kind of disagreement with the wall and the door. The anchoring wall and the door. Okay. What about selecting just the single door? I think that worked. I think we tested that and it worked, but I'll double check. Yeah, that just checked. That just works. And also, so does selecting the wall next to the door. So the single door is immune to this problem, which makes sense because the single door is not doing very much checking. Whereas the double and triple doors are a lot more, they're scrutinizing their environment a lot more because they need to figure out, you know, they need to figure out their shape a little bit better. There's a little bit more involved to figure out which door to auto tile for double and triple doors. All right, so where is this problem? Eris, Ezra, red alert. Repel boarders. We're being boarded by Eris, Ezra, and their band of pirates. How's it going? Hello, hello, Rudy V3, Benedictus, PD999. How's it going? How are you? How was the stream? What have you been up to this fine Saturday? We are working on our isometric 3D game in Godot. It's an FTL-like, but it's a lot more vertical. So we're playing around with, I don't know what this was. It's a lot more vertical. So we're playing around a lot more with tile map layers. Flagelcroffle, you love FTL? I do as well. PD, you too? It's so good. Ryson, are you able to just select the floor layer and not the wall layer that may or may not be above it? No. A selection is per block. So you can't just select the floor without the wall. So right now, we are working on... So another person who can't say your nickname? Oh no, what's your nickname? Rudy V3? I'm not sure. Almighty Tundra. FTL is such an old classic. That makes me feel old because FTL is from like 2011 or 2012. It is a classic. I just wouldn't call it an old classic. Let's be kind. All right, so what we can do, so the way we're trying to do this is we're building out a very modular auto tiling setup with Godot. So we can do something, actually this feels too big. So we can do something like this. We can build a room, hollow it out, go down a level, build another room underneath it. Put a roof on it. Go down here. Hollow this out. Maybe leave some walls this time. So we've got this big ol' auto tiler here. We could even go back up here. Remove the ceiling. Go down, remove the walls. We can just keep going, you know? You know what I mean? We could start throwing some doors in here. We're doing a lot of auto tiling. You can camera rotate everything. Rotation's a little wonky right now. All right, let me catch up with chat. I'm too distracted by my demo. What is FTL? FTL, faster than light. Rudy, but people say it as a name, and in Polish it means your hair color. You've red hair. Oh, Rudy, okay. Nice. Nice to meet you, Rudy. It's from 2012. Yeah, Tundra. You remember it as like 2009 or something? No. Eris, this tech will never stop blowing your mind. I really appreciate it. It is countless tile map layers in Godot that's doing all of this for us. That's how we're achieving this fake 3D look. Oh my god, that looks so cool. Damn, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you all. Well, I hope you had a great stream, Eris. If you've got to run, if you got to raid and run, I get it. It's the middle of the weekend here. So yeah, we can keep doing this indefinitely. So it's not clear how like big a scale the game is going to be. I don't know if we're going to be going full like, but we have the capacity to do quite a bit here. We haven't gotten to a lot of performance testing yet, but there's a lot going on. We get to go down here, hollow this out, start adding more rooms. So we're doing kind of an FTL faster than light style thing, but the scale and maybe the pacing, who knows? This might also be a little more kind of RimWorld-y. But right now we're just working on the tools that we're going to use to build these ships, you know, to build these fake isometric 3D ships. So what we've been working on this week is a selection mechanism so that you can like select all this stuff. So we've been working on a selection overlay. That's been kind of our thing. And we're working on some edge cases with the selection thing that's not working super great. Have I tried Meeple Station? This reminds you a bit of that, but it's more like RimWorld in space, not FTL. I need to try that. Someone mentioned Meeple Station. I said RimWorld right as you typed it. Nice. Fake 3D reminds you of old Doom. Yeah, we're definitely faking the 3D like an old game like Doom. Am I telling you that you can make a homeworld mothership? I don't know. We'll see about the scale. We'll see about what kind of scale we can support. Right now, we just support 64 by 64 by 8, but that's like deeply arbitrary. And it's kind of based on the fact that this isn't really optimized yet. So we're working on right now this issue where if we partially select a door, it doesn't render correctly. So like here we can select the whole door, but if we only select like half the door, oh, that worked. What the hell? Okay, but this one doesn't work. Why does this one work? So yeah, okay, here it doesn't work. So if I just select the middle chunk of the door, the other parts of the door don't render correctly. Same thing happens when I try to select just a wall. So there's some flaws in the overlay or the auto tiling underneath the overlay because we've just added this selection piece. It's mostly working, but yeah, you can kind of see where the edge cases are where it doesn't work. And this would be so you can select like a room and decide to move the room or copy and paste it or whatever. It's pretty cool. Looks pretty smooth. Thank you, Benedictus. Yeah, this is kind of what we're working on. So we have two different steps in this auto tiling. There's the initial auto tiling, which lays out the hull and all the underlying ship parts. Ryzen. The FTL is a classic game like Pac-Man and Pong. You're just killing me here. FTL was one of the first games ever made on an oscilloscope, just like Pong. Yeah, exactly. You get it. So the problem is I think we are entering an invalid state. I think the door is entering an invalid state. I'm gonna do something really stupid. No, I'm just gonna add a debug thing here. Just to confirm our hypothesis that that's what's happening. If that's not what's happening, we have to find it. But I think we're entering an invalid state. You know, it would be even easier if I just added a sprite that we could draw when the door was... Oh, this isn't what I wanted to do. I don't want to continue. I just want to debug right line. Invalid door at key.xyz. I want to add whether it's a double, single, or a triple door too. So we can say door tile dot, or we can say door Yeah, door tile dot form. So we'll say it'll say it's like invalid double door at whatever, and we can verify that we're entering invalid states. I mean, obviously we are, but I'm trying to figure out whether this is a drawing problem or like a different classification problem. PD, man, you loved playing FTL on your SNES as a kid. Yeah, me too. Me too, PD. Tundra, you can't imagine yourself coding so many lines. Not right now, at least. Yeah, this is kind of blown up a little bit. A lot of the utility that we're getting out of this is that we are using the tile map and everything and the Godot scene tree as just a way to render, like, it's just a display and a hook for the UI, really. All of the simulation stuff is happening separately in .NET, like, outside of the, you know, concern of the scene tree. And that lets us do a lot of stuff, like have very cheap simulation stuff. Simulation entity, like not every piece that you need to simulate is a node, you know, that sort of thing. And so then the autotiler just determines what needs to be drawn, and that lets you do cool stuff like camera rotations of tile maps, which is like not always easy, but we can just redraw and say the camera's over here now, and the autotiler is just like, okay, if the camera's over here, then what do we need to do to make this thing happen? So it's really nice. I encourage people to, you know, separate out their simulation stuff from their rendering, but it's not always practical, and it does result in a lot of code. Okay, so we have a triple door here. My theory is that we will debug draw. If I select this wall, my theory is that if we then tab out, go here, yep, invalid door. Oh, we're getting invalid doors all over the place. Oh, that's because I'm mousing over with the hover. I actually don't know what's happening there. That's fine. So 3942 1. Okay, so we are reaching an invalid state with the door. So this is invalid, and then if I move this over by 1, this is not invalid, surprisingly enough. This isn't either. But this is. So yeah, it's interesting that there's only certain cases that we're checking here. Yeah, so this is 37 and 39. Yeah, okay. Hey, nerds. What up, nerds? You actually used to play the FTL tabletop RPG in between D&D sessions? Yeah, that's great. The church said it was also demonic. How's it going, nerds? It's been a minute. Ryson, have I thought about making a save state system so I can return to my last build when you reopen it instead of having to rebuild everything every time you close and reopen? Yeah, we had that before where we would save out the ship and then reload it, but that was back when the game state was stored in the tile map itself. Now that the game state is in a separate area, I just haven't rewritten all that stuff. Like the undo, redo, save load. I haven't rewritten that stuff for the separate simulation layer. So we do need to work on that. I've just been building such trivial test environments that it hasn't mattered. But yeah, we're going to get to the point where that matters a lot. Okay, so we know the problem is where we are defining invalid doors, which is only happening up there, right? Like down here, we're reading whether a door is invalid, but we're defining whether a door is invalid in only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're only doing it in 5 places. So some number of these 5 places, we're doing this wrong. So we just got to figure out which of them they are. And it's probably more than one of them. So read-only span. Can I not just record this block? Who cares? It's cheap to read the span. All right, so let's go from the top. So let's figure this out for So is this the single door or the double door? Oh, I guess I figured that out during this process, huh? So double, triple, double, triple. Okay, so it could be here, else if, posx.form or negx.form, and block.forms.bulk evaluates to block.forms.bulk. This is a very simple check and should be fine. Almighty Tundra. How on earth do I find heads or tails in coding? Right now you're trying to learn how to use Godot and GDScript. As of right now, it's like trying to read or write Chinese. Oh, yeah, I mean, you get used to the syntax. I like GDScript. We actually do use, this is all C# for the simulation. Don't ask me why, there's no good answer. But for things like, for stuff that's happening here in the scene tree, we just use GDScript. And I like GDScript, it's simple. It's got a lot more plain English in it. So I definitely recommend continuing to pursue GDScript. Like, here's our input handler. It's super dumb and simple, but it works. Yeah, the Godot tutorials are pretty great for this sort of thing. There's a lot of... I forget how GDScript works pretty much every time I touch it because I'm not used to... I don't spend most of my day in it. What else do we do in GDScript? Oh yeah, we unload the packed tile map data. That's pretty much it right now. It'll get a lot more complicated as we need node behavior to play out in the scene tree. But you kind of just build little things at a time. You build little by little. You build tiny things, and then the tiny things become bigger things, and the bigger things become even bigger things. Because yeah, if you look at it all at once, it's like, what is this even doing? But if you start with a small enough building block, you can get there. You've never touched coding. That's totally fine. I am not a good programmer. I will be the first person to say I'm a terrible programmer. But luckily, nobody can see your code unless you're streaming. All that really matters is the behavior and the reliability, which is part of the behavior, arguably. But like, there's the visible behavior and then like what's happening under the hood, like the performance. And performance often doesn't matter. In which case, all you have to worry about is the behavior. Like if you're doing little 2D games in Godot and it's like a web build or whatever, performance is like probably not the thing you're concerned about. So I'd say the bar is lower than you might think as far as what you need to know to be able to pull off some gameplay programming. Okay, I'm going to say it's not here. Unless this check is coming across. Unless this just isn't a valid reason to make a block invalid. Positive X form or negative X form. And block.forms.bulk. As long as it's left to right order of operations here, we're fine. If it's not, then we have problem. Like, as long as these parentheses are unnecessary, and in fact, they may in fact be necessary. Because writer is not telling me they're unnecessary, so that's cool. I'm going to presume that they're unnecessary and that we're going left to right. But I actually don't know the order of operations for bitwise operations. So that could very well be a problem, even though this otherwise looks fine. This could be part of it. Otherwise, where else are we assigning invalid doors? So same deal down here. We're doing the same thing, but just for Y instead of X. My suspicion is that it's this fifth position here. This, if not negative Z.has block.forms.dec or not read-only span I.has block.forms.dec. Oh, no, it actually can't be this one. Because this one actually wouldn't make sense. Or door tile.axes is equal to axes.xy. All right, I don't think it's here either, which is unfortunate because these are the only 5 places we're assigning this. It's possible that we're... No. R3 Muzz, or potentially Remuzz. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Raiders, for hanging out here. Popping in and hanging out on this Saturday. Hope you're all having a great day and a great weekend. All right, so we're incorrectly marking a door as being invalid. Let's just play around with order of operations stuff just to make sure that that's not it. I don't think it is. And in fact, we can further scrutinize some of this stuff. Oh, is this still just... no. I'll be curious because it is probably in these lines because of this wait, else if door dot and oh, we're marking a door as invalid just because each side of the door of this door is a door. That's not right, is it? Oh, this is an else if. So we're marking it triple if this and this. Oh, here we're saying is one of these a door. If only one of these is a door, but we're not a double door. Single door, else if, pause, form. Oh, here we've got an exclusive or kind of thing here. That is good. Oh, so this would be, is the door next to us a door, but the wall on the other side of us is no wall? Like, are we 2 doors in a vacuum? How's it going? How's it going, Remus? We're bug fixing a little bit, perplexing. A very weird little edge case bug here we've got. All right, let's see. Let's see about this. It'd be very weird if we resolve this error with just some parentheses. I will take it, but it will be weird. All right, so here's our 3 doors. This door is valid no matter what when we select, regardless of whether we select just the door or the door and the wall. So this is always valid. The single door has no problems. The double door, on the other hand, if we select just the doors without the walls, or we select one door and one wall, or we select just the wall. So if we select the 2 doors but not the walls, one side of the door and a wall, or in fact just a wall, that breaks. If we select just the door, it works fine. For this door, I guess the opposite door breaks. But in the triple door, selecting just one door works. But selecting a door and its adjacent wall doesn't work. Yeah, so we run into some auto-tiling issues when we're doing these partial selections of doors. And that's what we're fixing right now. Just understanding the flow. In the state of the block, a block being the floor underneath and either the wall or the door above, it's just the 3D space that represents there. Each of those are called a block. Like this is a block. This is a block. These can be selected or not, and it's all these just bit flags. It's very interesting that that works. That you can select just the door, but not the door and the wall. Very strange. All right, we got ads coming up here in a minute. All right, so it wasn't the order of operations, which I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
So let's undo that. It's just more parentheses than we need here. And let's think about this a little more closely. So there's only 5 points where we set a block as invalid. Relative position, layer 6. It shouldn't, I don't think there's any issues with the layering. Are we putting these in the doors, halls? Almighty Tundra, thank you for the follow. Your name makes me think of the Mighty Boosh Tundra song sketch from season 1. The Tundra episode. Love that.
Yo.
Speaking of games that are classics, man, I've been playing that remastered Oblivion the last couple of nights. That is some good stuff. That is like just like mainlining nostalgia. Just hearing Patrick Stewart doing the the introduction, so good. All right, so is it possible that we are skipping adding the tile when the door is... So if a door is considered invalid, we just don't add it to the tile, is I think what's happening. Yeah, and if we don't add it to the list of tiles, then the outline selector won't ever see it. So that explains why the outline selector doesn't want to draw it. However, what doesn't make sense is exactly why... You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I should have done this earlier. We're just going to breakpoint these. We'll see what we get. I don't know why I didn't just do this. Let's see what behavior we're violating here. You're going to hit the lurk. It's hard watching a stream and Godot guides. Oh, for sure, Almighty Tundra. Good luck to you. We have a Discord. If you need help or if you want to share some stuff you're working on. It's a small community, but it's mostly Godot devs. It's growing. You don't feel pressured. You don't need to feel pressured. You probably can't hear me. You're probably stuck in an ad. You got a decent ad blocker? Good for you. All right, so we got our breakpoints. Ryson, that explains a few of the yawns, the remastered Oblivion. You're not wrong, you're not wrong. I was up till like midnight last night playing it. The only complaint I have about it so far, and actually this is probably true of the original, I don't remember. It's that the medium difficulty... The middle difficulty is too hard, and one step up from that, which isn't even the hardest, is like... Medium difficulty is too easy, and one step up is way too hard, at least when you're starting the game. It turns each fight against every rat into like a fight for life and death. But when you're on Adept, then like, if you're one difficulty level below that harder setting, if you're in the middle, everything's just too easy, and you don't sweat. Even fighting 2 or like 3 or 4 bandits is like pretty manageable, even at like level 2. So, kind of wish they'd tuned that a little bit better. Because I don't want to have to be respawning every single fight, or like quick saving in between fights as I move through a dungeon. Like, you're out. All right, good luck. Ship it, Tundra. Oh, we crashed. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, though. Form invalid. Okay. All right, so that's weird. Why is it this one? So the block above... I need to redo this test. I wasn't paying attention. Petey, you heard so many good things about Oblivion Remastered and Metaphor. You think that's the next 2 single-player games you're gonna get? Nice. Yeah, I have Game Pass, so there's a ton of games I would never buy that I'm just gonna play just because it's on Game Pass. Like, I would have never started Blueprints, but I'm loving it. Same with Avowed. Avowed is really cool, and I didn't finish Avowed. I started it, and then I started playing Oblivion, and I'm probably going to go back to Avowed after and be just so thankful for so many quality of life improvements. It's a very different game, but it does feel like a smaller, more like boutique Elder Scrolls experience. It's a little more handcrafted. I don't love companion-based games. I don't love games where like you have these NPC companions who fight next to you. Oh, so that's not working because... Oh, that's so stupid. I have to remove this breakpoint or we're literally never gonna get through anything. Okay, so hopefully it's not this line. I deeply do not believe it's this line, so I think that's okay for us. I can't even select the tile out of the palette without triggering that breakpoint, so... Oh, this isn't what I wanted to do. There we go. I wonder if we're going to eventually have different auto tiling or different cutaway rules for edit time versus play time. I feel like that might happen. Because the way I want it to work right now when I'm drawing... Okay. I think we're having some problems with the hover tile. I think I have to be super careful with the hover tile. And by hover tile, I mean the tile that's like the preview block that's flying around. That block is a real block, and it's treated as a permanent block. It's treated as being part of the composition, this block that's following my cursor around. And the problem is it's being treated as invalid most of the time. So I need to be super careful about using it during this experiment because it normally wouldn't matter if it was invalid. Okay, go around. Okay, there's 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, this is scary. It's really easy for me to make this not work. Okay, here we go. We got 1, 2, 3. We got our doors. Now what F. This is not easy to set up without breaking it. This is not an easy check to make. I think I see what I need to do. I need to give myself a safe space. I need to make a big area like this. And then go down here. I need to be super careful. All right. So, got that. Go this. Go over here. So this. Okay, now I need to go over here. Switch the tool. Okay, whew. Now I can do the selection test. So this is not being treated as invalid under any circumstances. Let's try this. Oh, so that's actually not considered invalid or at least not for this reason. Interesting. form equals both. Yeah, this is where it would be nice to have a save and load, so I could reset that test without having to build it again. You are right, Ryson. Okay, so this came through. Positive x dot form. So form empty, form deck bulk, both, and select. Okay, so this is an empty form. Why is that being treated that way? So that's true. Interesting, interesting. So let's figure out what the axis of the door is. So the door's axis is... Axes is null. Oh, so we're trying to figure out what the door's axis is in this case. Deck door select. So your positive block is a door. Your negative block is also a door. So this is a y-axis door, and we're comparing the x-axis neighbor. Oh. I triggered this. I think I have an idea of what's happening. Let me see if it's true. Let me see if I can set this up again without breaking it. It's good, Ryson. So... So what we're doing is we're checking the like x-axis neighbors of the door, and then we're checking the y-axis neighbors of the door. And I think there must be a check somewhere where we're marking the door as invalid because it thinks it's like crossed somehow with maybe a selection block or something. Maybe there's a check for an empty door or an empty block and it's not empty because it has select. Do we care about that anywhere? We don't compare anything to an empty block though. Maybe there's some kind of... Yeah, we'll see. Let's set this up again. This is a weird one, but I think it'll be... Once it becomes obvious what's happening, it'll be really easy to fix. That's fine. All I said we were going to do today was get door support going, so if that's all we do, great. What if I do this? So what if I do a selection block like this? Yeah, so I actually don't think we have a invalid block problem, really. Although this isn't checking their X neighbors, this is just checking their Y neighbors. Do I have the breakpoint set up for that? We are checking that. We're just not checking the X. We are clearing this every frame, right? Yeah, we are. No Jewel. Should you put game jams in the CV of an application for a game dev stipend? Almost certainly. It would almost certainly help to show that you're actually making things and like publishing them, right? I don't think the kind of person who's going to be evaluating a game dev, like the applications for game dev stipends, I don't think they're going to make a huge distinction between game jams and like commercial products. I mean, in one sense they are, but in another sense they're probably not savvy enough to really care. They're probably like, well, this person's making games and releasing them. I mean, depending on the qualifications for the stipend. That's my idea. Is I don't see how it could hurt you. So we're recording these doors as invalid. All right, I'm enabling these breakpoints again because we're almost certainly gonna run afoul of them, and I'm gonna do my best to try to avoid that from happening erroneously. I'm gonna be very careful about what I'm doing here. I know I've said that before. This is more about psyching me up. Yeah, what the F? Pause X form is empty. Pause Y form is both. So what this is saying is there one block that's got a wall? So this is implying that one block has a wall and one block is empty. But this also could trigger if both sides are... Where's the coordinate that we're talking about here? I guess it doesn't matter. I guess I could try to just go through. I could just step through when this happens. Oh, what the hell? How is there already a selection here? Okay. I need to do some selection clamping based on whether a block is empty or not. Like, we shouldn't be able to select empty blocks right now. That's maybe the next little thing to fix. Assuming we get through this. And we don't get stuck. Alright, let's test the other side and see if we are in better shape. Alright, so what if we skip through this? Resume program. Yeah, okay. Resume program here. Alright. Now we just need to unselect this. Alright, let's see if we can get a good test here. So we're going to select these blocks. We're fine. We're going to select this block. We're fine. We're going to select the wall next to the upper section of this door. And we'll probably create an invalid block. No, we didn't. We did not. Or if we did, let's actually see if we did. Where's the output? We may have. But if we did, we didn't do it any of these 4 ways. Which is curious. All right, let's see if any of these other methods will break it. So let's try selecting the door only. So that's fine. The other door is broken in that case. Same there. What if we select this? Well, let's see. This should be valid. That's valid. This should be invalid. Crash? No. Crash? No. Okay, we're eliminating options. This is really good, actually. So we are making invalid blocks, and in fact, we're making 2 invalid blocks here when I'm placing between. This is great. This is good news, everyone. So when we're selecting here, these 2 doors next to each other are invalid. They're being made invalid, but they're not being made invalid in either of the 2 ways or 4 ways that we've set up a breakpoint. So it's got to be the fourth reason here. Okay. So these are not the culprits. I didn't think they were, but that implies that this right here is the culprit. If -z.has block.forms.deck. Okay, so if the block above us does not have a floor, that would cause us to be invalid, because a door without a thing above it is just like a gate. And then what we're saying here is not read only span I. So that means the block that we are currently considering, if the block that we're currently considering does not have a floor, or doortile.axes equals axes.xy, when might that happen? Let's just start eliminating possibilities. So I think that one in the back is sus. So we're going to remove that. And that might cause some weird things to happen, but it might also help out. And if that's the source of the problem, we can figure that out. The behavior might be kind of weird. While we figure this out. So, door there, door here, door here. All right, so all good here. Okay. That does not seem to be it. Okay, that's not the thing. That's not the source of it. Okay. Let's actually just make sure that this is where the problem is. Is there somewhere else we might be declaring a door to be invalid? Like way down here somewhere? We have a reference to it somewhere. Oh, that's just I see. Ah. Those are just comments mostly. All right. I think it's here. I think the problem is here. Let's see about that. Nope. Problem is not there. Maybe it is a problem with the auto tiling and not being an invalid state. Okay. So it's an auto tiling problem. Then why can I not see it? I mean, this tells me it's the door is being made invalid. Like all the time. But it's allegedly not happening here, which is fascinating. All right, one more check here to make sure it's not these lines. Let's be absolutely sure before we move on. Continue. Oh my god. Continue, please. Oh my god, I can't place doors with all of these. I need to be running this in the editor, huh? I need to be seeing where this is happening. I keep forgetting I can do this. I love the built-in editor window in 4 point whatever. 4. It's harder to see what's going on, but you get that embedded debug. All right, so let's start looking now. Let's start watching the debug window. So interesting. Okay, so it is being considered invalid somewhere. Okay, it is being considered invalid. What I don't understand is where. So rather than the breakpoint, what we're going to be doing is putting draw lines here. Or draw right lines here. We're going to say pause Y. Invalid. We're just going to say Y-axis. What is this? Y bulk. Invalid. You're going to be upset with me until I add stuff here. What the F just happened? Can I just not have this, though? Okay. Yeah, it's like, I need my curly braces. I can't make sense of this. It's not a single line. All right. This should be sufficient. I might as well do both. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's see where this is happening. Not like this, though. I want to run it in here so I can see the output. I can make this a little bit bigger, probably. There we go. Love the embedded editor window. All right, so invalid door at. Oh, I see. So this sets off Y bulk invalid, which is correct. What we need to do here. So selection is fine for single door. No invalidation. Invalid door, but not Y bulk invalid. Where is it? Nope. Okay. So I think we've managed to rule out 4 sections of the code. Technically 5 based on the test we were doing before. Because these are not being invalidated by... The Y bulk invalid shows up because I'm doing this stuff. Okay. Okay. So we can definitively say it's none of these branches. Not branches, conditionals. Wherever they went to. These ones. Let's just remove these right lines here. We're gonna call this actually we should do this. We should do this like should do this as kind of a vector 3 kind of thing. There's something else happening somewhere, and we're gonna find it. Stubenhocker. Speaking of verifying the verification system, yeah. You found a bug where the masked down state of characters didn't get respect. Masked down state of... Oh, it didn't get respected. Well, that's what you gotta do. Gotta look for those errors. All right, let's test this. I'm gonna use a very small test bed. So this should light up for a while. All right. So we're going to start checking things. False, false, true. Okay, that didn't do it. Oh, did it do it here? Nope. Nope. Okay, we have a bit of a mystery on our hand. The doors are being invalidated, but nowhere that I can tell that we're actually setting invalid. Fascinating. Maybe there's some kind of invalidation check I'm making, and the check itself is erroneous. Because somewhere between where we set the invalid state and where we read the invalid state, it is being triggered. Which means maybe we're just checking it incorrectly, because we're not triggering any of our right lines with any of this stuff, and all of this stuff is generating lots of invalid behavior. Okay, cool. Okay, so we can eliminate this entire section. None of the places we're actually writing invalid is actually being invalidated. That's concerning. None of this matters. Oh, there's 6 of these here? No, one of them's a check. That's a check, not an assignment. So, down here, the door has become invalid. Maybe the key is wrong. No. Let's record the whole door tile. Oh. Time to render all 150-ish million characters again. Oh my god, Stubenhocker. That is wild. 150-ish million. That's why combinatorics is so scary. So our Hall auto tiler works per face. And so each tile map layer is only responsible for one face of one cube. And each block consists of two quote-unquote cubes. And that's because I saw down into the abyss of the combinatoric insanity. Because at first I was thinking we could do it all on a per block basis. So I was like, okay, here's the different hull types. So like here's the middle hull, I'm like, how hard would it be to render on a per block basis? So you rendered the floor block and the bulk. You rendered the deck and the bulk. And you treated each of these as one thing. Or you'd run the deck and then you render the bulk, and those were each. And the combinatoric difference between that and what I'm actually doing is insane. It was this. I don't know if I ever showed you this. But this is just the combination of outline possibilities for one block. And that's just for one block or one deck. So whether you're talking about the block or the deck, you've got. So if there's a face here, you eliminate this outline. A face here, eliminate this one. You start combining them. You start going just crazy town. And I looked at this combinatoric and I was like, no, this is insane. We can't do this per block. We need to do this per face. And I can only imagine the decisions that you've had to make. And you still wound up with 150 million characters. Yeah, I like keeping that diagram around. Because I thought it was manageable. It kind of is. It would have taken just one byte to represent all of those outline differences. But the problem is I needed to do that for any given hull combination, which was the first picture I showed. So each one of these values needed its own one of these. Not this. It needed its own one of these. And that's insane. And I just even if I was automatically generating these, that's just like so much to do. Do not want. No thanks. Yeah, per face has been a lot more manageable. The only downside is we have like each level has 7 tile map layers, each responsible for a very specific thing. The exception of the door layer. The door layer is just doing all of the door proxies. But all the other ones, you have like bulk layer Z, Y, X, deck layer Z, Y, X. Just try to manage some of that insane combinatoric. And all of that was just the difference between having 3 layers or 1 layer per cube, you know? Crazy. Crazy stuff. All right, can I run this now? All right. We're going to figure out where this is going wrong. It's the last thing I do. I do need to wrap it up relatively soon. You're like 2 minutes behind the live stream. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a delay. It's a big number. It results in only 220-ish gigabytes of image data. That is insane. They're all user generated. That outline image looked wild. It is wild. Cool, a 3-hour stream like you prefer. Yeah, all of my streams should be this length. I feel terrible when I only get an hour or two. All right, so let's put these doors in. So we're getting all these insane debug draw. That's fine. That's expected. That's why we're doing this as a right line instead of a breakpoint. Because if it was a breakpoint, we would be unhappy. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch away. We're gonna switch to this, and we're gonna start doing selections. Okay, so the selection's fine. Let's try to grab one of these at a time. Axes null. Why is the axis null? Interesting. So we're getting axes null, division none, form invalid. So we're replacing like the whole thing, but only during a selection. Curiouser and curiouser. So how is the whole state becoming invalidated for the door tile? You know, it's very likely that we're simply referencing the wrong door tile. It's very possible that that's what's happening. In which case, wow, egg on my face, huh? Ludum Dare 57 results drop in about an hour. Awesome. Yeah, please share them on the Discord. I would love to see. I mean, if you're proud of them, if you don't, just sweep them under the rug. That's what I do. If you're not proud of them, just don't worry about it. That's the nice thing about a short game jam like that. If you do well, you can be like, what an amazing accomplishment. And if you're like me and you crash out, you can be like, it was just a weekend lost. Just one weekend wasted. You're proudly not proud. No, Joel, what you came up with was awesome. I love your little cliff thing. I love the procedural nature of that. Your infinite little depth drawer cliff generator thing. I think that's cool. All right, so I'm concerned that there's an issue with the door tile that we are pulling. I'm concerned that we're pulling the wrong. That doesn't totally make sense to me. Oh. Hold on a second. Where is this check happening? Oh, this isn't even, oh, this is happening in the autotiler. All right. Door tile equals doors key. Where are we setting this up? We're setting this up here. Doors, new vector 4i, relative position 6. Oh my god, are we writing to the wrong layer? Hulls, new relative position. No, that doesn't make sense. Relative position, door tile. Door tile equals door tile with axes equals door tile dot axes. Door tile with form dot invalid. Door tile form. Are we like not correctly forming the door tile? We must be, right? With axes equals x. The division should be blank, but this whole axes equals null thing is like deeply concerning. Are we passing through this and none of the conditionals are true? Is there no base state, which is the problem? Like, are we just getting a default door tile? And that's why this is happening? It's very strange. latest jam you did, though? Really rough. That's going under the rug. No, the BattleBots one? I love that one. You want to continue a bit on that, No Joel? I think you should. I think it's a cool idea. All right. We got to focus up. We got like 10 minutes. We got to focus up and figure this out. I need to end the stream on a win. I'm a little concerned that we're ending with what's happening is that a default value door tile is slipping through this crazy series of branching if statements. Because that's true. We do just go else if, else if, else if, and then it's just over. And then we go back to an if, and then we go else if, else if, else if. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's very possible that that's what's happening. And then we're just assigning, because I don't think it's a layer problem. And in fact, the doors thing doesn't even need layer data. Actually, it does, because... yeah, layer 6 is correct for the door layer. And when we go down here to assign the tile set, what we're doing is we're saying doors key equals door tile. So we're pulling a key out of hulls. So for every hulls key, are we always adding the door to the hulls list? Is that not happening? No, we always are. So whenever we add the door, we add a hull. That's correct. Is this at the end of the whole switch statement? No, this is just only in tile map layer 6. Okay. Okay, this is my suspicion, is that we're actually adding... We're passing through all of this, and the door tile is actually not having any values set. So it's just being implicitly invalid, and we're not catching that behavior. That's going to be tough to validate. Well, it's not tough to validate, but that is tough to fix, potentially. What do you feel went wrong with the BattleBots one, Ryson? It looked so cool. So I think... oh, this is not instrumental. I was promised instrumental music only. Alright, I'm going to add some else statements, and I'm going to see... my suspicion is that this is where we're breaking. We'll just draw a door tile. I don't mean draw. We'll debug right line door tile. Actually, I guess I did this on purpose. The problem is if someone gets through both of these, let's just do this thing. Let's say if door tile evaluates to default. So we already know none of the rest of these cause the problem. I think this must be the problem. We don't have a key yet. Oh, we just have a rel position. Rel position. Let's get rid of the other debug. Just because this is more than sufficient. Combat was really rough. You just didn't do it justice. You might come back to it once you've improved your Godot chops. Considering doing a series of small games with physics and enemy AI systems and coming back to it. The burnout's just really hamstrung all your efforts. Oh, I feel that. You did a lot. You were doing a lot. And I think it's good, but yeah, I can feel how that gets you when you hit a hard problem and you're in that state, it's just like devastating sometimes. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get rid of that, so we're not always triggering this. Oh, I see what's happening there. Okay. So all good there. Now let's start checking out here what's going on. Yeah, this is what's happening. Okay, we figured it out. So we're just passing through. We're not recognizing a valid state, and we're just passing right through and leaving the door tile in its default state.
Just wait for the tone.
That is tough. That's fine, though. Now we know where the problem is. We know exactly what's happening. We just got to fix it, which means just rewriting the logic of determining whether a door tile is legitimate or invalid. But I'm out of time for today, so we're going to probably pick this up next week. I like to end with a win. This wasn't much of one, except we just found the problem, which sometimes it takes 2 hours to find a problem. So we're going to find someone to raid, because we got a pretty nice crew in here.
The person you're trying to reach is not available right now.
Trevoron's recording some music. That could be fun. Trevoron's great. They did the music for Block Shop. I don't see a lot of other people online right now.
If you need further assistance, enter pound now.
Oh, Daria is making their game. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all for hanging out.
Number phone.
Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll be back Tuesday for anyone new. We do Tuesday through Saturday around this time. Usually not quite this late, but it's Saturday, so why not? Two hours is pretty fast. Sometimes that's sad that that's true, but sometimes it does take more than 2 hours to find a bug. And this is good. This is good. We know next time what we need to do. It's still definitely just a case of the selection. So the selection thing is invalidating some of these checks. So what would otherwise be a valid door is being invalidated because there's a bit flag. There's a selection bit flag. So we just need to figure out why that is happening. And it totally doesn't make sense to me. But maybe it's time to rewrite this, add some more helper functions, and simplify some of this bitwise stuff. Anyway, the raid's about to hit. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Ship them if you got them. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.